Yeah.
Guess who got invaded?
Who?
Ukraine.
Are they actually invaded yet?
Well-
I don't think that they are.
Well, it was what, the skeletons of the missiles, or what was that?
Well, I'd like a low key bet, but not
Smoke
bet.
Puff. What's that
Red-
rapper's name?
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. With Doctor Evil, I had a bet. Well, like it wasn't really a bet because we didn't like finish off terms and shit.
I owed that motherfucker $5,000 in 10 years.
Jesus Christ!
For last 10 years, I haven't paid him in golf.
Oh my god, what the fuck did he bet him?
Huh?
What did you bet him?
Like money on golf. We're paying like
On golf?
yeah, it was like putt putt go.
And you bet him $5,000 on one round of golf?
Yeah.
Christ,
Yeah, 18. I was like, I'm not gonna pay this motherfucker regardless.
you're special, man.
I got my first pistol then too. I remember.
One day when this guy gets married, you can give him 5 Gs. But like, here's your bet. Done.
Yeah, I killed two birds with one stone.
That's exactly right.
Boom.
Yeah, well, I guess 2 birds, 1 stone here. Ukraine, Russia. I don't know, man. That shit's fucking weird because there are a lot of rumors about people. Actually, not even rumors. Reports of Russia lining up troops around the Ukraine border, like 150,000 deep.
Yeah, bet.
And then other reports of them pulling out, and then now apparently they're saying they're on. I heard what's that fucking the UK Prime Minister Boris.
Boris.
Our boy Boris. He said
Ransovich.
Russia is gearing up for World War III. He said this.
Yeah.
Prime Minister of the UK is saying this. So
Maybe they know something though, huh?
I don't. Maybe they know something that we.
Nations of the heart. Okay. A man that's very driven towards success.
Mm.
If it's not if you're not limited by your heart, I would say Ritalin or Adderall with the combination of testosterone, you're gonna take over the world if you're smart enough.
Really?
Absolutely. It's like the kind of focus where people only have 1 or 2 of those a lifetime. Where somebody sits down and they're like, okay, I got to change my life up right fucking now. I got to do some Adderall and do some testosterone and really change this thing up. And that's that feeling. It is unbelievable. But you're also running your heart rate at like 60% all the time.
Yeah, I don't know about that. That sounds kind of dangerous.
It is dangerous, but it's also kind of like a limitless combination cocktail.
Well, Limitless is based off of
Adderall.
yeah, like Adderall, Ritalin, that whole thing.
But it's not like that, right? It's almost like fantasized. It's I've done Ritalin. You do get focus based, but you still like you're still deprived of absolute focus. And what I mean by absolute focus is like
it is a movie like based because like Limitless was the whole idea of basically the super drug that takes all the benefits of Adderall and Ritalin and none of the side effects.
well, that doesn't exist, right?
Obviously, well, it's a fucking movie. Although in the movie there were still some side effects.
There was a lot of side effects.
One of them was if you didn't get enough sleep or eat or whatever, you would basically like black out and like do fucked up shit. That was like one of the huge side effects. And
Not
then,
do fucked up shit necessarily, but you would skip in portions.
Yeah,
of
yeah, but you would do
consciousness.
fucked up shit. He like
No. It's that he would lose consciousness abilities where he would.
that's what I'm saying.
have
He'd black out.
blinks,
He'd black
right?
out.
But it doesn't necessarily have. He killed that one chick, right?
That's what I'm
And they
saying. The
just skipped
fucked up
over that.
shit, dude. That's
They
what I'm
just
saying.
skipped over that.
The other side effect was oh, it'll make you sick, like physically ill.
Yeah, there'd be withdrawals.
But that's why he said. So he's like, as long as I don't drink, don't do coffee, eat, and sleep, I'm good. Imagine if you had a drug that actually did all that shit. Fuck, that'd be amazing. If all you had to do is like eat healthy and
Hector,
sleep.
imagine me with my testosterone levels running on 3 hours of sleep like I'm running on 10 hours of sleep every day. Think about the productivity level.
The whole like running.
I'd be fucking making
that on anyone would be
$800.
fucking lit.
anybody.
If I could do
Anybody.
that, if I could run on 3 hours sleep like I do on like 9 hours sleep, holy shit!
Holy fuck.
Watch out, world.
You're getting a Rolls Royce next month, sir.
Yeah, I'm like fucking Jesus, man. Building cities, fucking making companies. Like it's
You're a
it's
carpenter,
a whole
plumber
thing.
by day, and you're a fucking software developer teaching ML
Dude,
by
it'd
night.
be-
What's good?
That'd be nice.
Coming for your throne.
Yeah, right. Actually, that reminds me. So we had a user submitted question,
Right.
a viewer submitted question rather, and it was about this idea of like potential, like human potential.
Are you
So-
switching us?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, good.
So human potential in the sense of like, do you feel that people are predetermined to get to some kind of potential ceiling, or there's a way, or that progression happens like another way, like it's taught or trained or like brought up in that sense.
I think everybody has. I think everybody has the potential to exceed and be one of like the 1%ers.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I ran through some numbers here, and it's a little bit interesting. Okay, what do you think the amount of people in 36 million people have make 10 to 30 million dollars a year? What do you think? What do you think the group population
Sorry,
amount
how many people?
out of
What's the
36 million
Yeah. So in
that
Canada.
make in
Yeah,
Canada that make 10 to 30 million dollars a year?
Percent
Net
or
value
amount?
amount.
I would say I'd say like 100,000.
You're
500,000.
you're way over.
Way over?
Because think about 1%, right? That's more than 1%.
No, that's
10 to 13. It's like one
10% of
10 to
30
10 to,
million.
Hold on, listen. 10 to 30 million net income is like 1/30th top percent of the 1%. Like you take the 1%,
No,
you divide it by
I
30.
think that number. What that math has to be off. That math.
No, it's not. Because the top 1% at the 25 age group is $471,000 net
What about
income.
older though?
So averaged out, net 1%
Yeah.
is $1.4 million.
Okay, so in that case, I'll shrink my number down to I'll say 5,000.
Okay, it's about 11,000 people.
Okay, I was gonna say 10 first. Oh damn.
Okay.
Okay, 5. All right.
And an interesting fact that I read about this is that those guys were 80% down in income of net income 20 years ago.
What do you mean?
So they were down like, okay, if they're making $10 million now,
Yeah,
they're making $2 million 20
I see.
years ago.
I see.
Okay, so the transition was a climb. It wasn't like a
Yeah, yeah.
drastic going up, right? It's kind of like building subscribers.
Right.
It's the long game. And these guys are putting in, it's who wants to put in 70 to 80 hours a week on your craft, whatever that craft is, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's selling off Amazon, whether it's doing a startup software, whether it's being a mechanical operations manager, whatever it is, it's putting in 70 to 80 hours for the last however long, 10, 20, 30 years. And it's really that. Now, out of those who have the opportunity to climb up into that kind of category of making $1 million, right? Net income is very rare to have $1 million. Like how many people I know of all the crazy suspect low-key shit I've done in my life,
Yeah.
I know maybe 3 people that make through illegal activities
Yeah.
that invested at least 10 years into the craft that make $1 million net income.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not many people. If most people I ask, they don't know anybody that age, that kind of value to them.
Right.
Now, what's interesting about this is that if you spend enough time in the right category with the right amount of money, you do have the opportunity to surpass these things. However, what is holding you back, right? That's the great question. Is what is holding you back from turning yourself from an average person into something like this? And what it is giving up basically your 20s and 30s. It's honestly
The thing
that.
is, okay, hold on, because this is now deviating from the original question. Because what you're getting now into is like financial and like social success, which is hard to control, because the thing you mentioned about the whole like 70, 80 hours. There's people who will do that for years on end and will never advance.
Yeah, that's where the opportunity matches the hard work, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's actually a good point that you mentioned. But the original question, I actually kind of changed the phrasing. The original question, as it was given to me, was roughly along the lines of, "Are geniuses born, or are geniuses can geniuses be made?"
I think this is actually a thing. There's 2 stages of a genius, right? A potential. So which means that you have a cap. Like you have to have. Do I know a lot of people that have very dumb parents genetically and are actually fairly well off and successful, as far as educational base or financial base? Very far and few between, because dumb parents will develop dumb kids on average. Smart parents will develop smart kids. Now, there is the combination of parent that
Why is that?
some things in life, if you don't seek them, they will never turn up the information. This information of like how well off families develop. I'll give you an example. Sacrificing as a family. Indians do this. Okay. They'll have one house, 15 people living in it.
Yeah, multi-generational homes.
Right. Multi-generation homes is a good way to start off as an immigrant. However, there's also people that invested very early. So I've dated some of these girls where their parents came in here in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
Now, if you come here in the 70s, 80s, you're buying houses for $80,000 in Burnaby, North Burnaby, right? So that being said, there is those. However, the opportunity and the hard work of immigrants coming here in the last 10 to 15 years and having these opportunities to pass on to their children, being one of the children, it is doable. However, the only key to it is your parents, in order for you to match the genius and that would have to have that transition period somewhat in their life. Either buy a house, sell a house, buy a couple of houses, sell a house, have a financial independency other than an employment. Because employment, honestly, I don't think will create geniuses. It's very hard for just employment, like pure employment. Like you work for somebody for 10, 15 years, you're not going to have the genius capability. Part of the genius capability is creativity and being able to like tone into one kind of demand of the public. It's very, very hard to see that if your parents haven't done it. It's very hard to deviate away from that, right? Especially in this market. And as we age...
So then what is your contention like to what develops a genius?
It could be any...
if I'm mistaken, from what you've been describing, you basically seem to describe it as financial stability and financial...
To me, genius
wealth
doesn't mean...
is what cultivates the environment for a genius.
We should really go deep into what a genius means to you, because I think it's very, very subjective.
Call it like a point zero, like something like 0.001 outlier in terms of intelligence.
As far as intelligence, as far as like making a business,
practical intelligence. Having a business doesn't mean that you're intelligent.
I think you're definitely more intelligent if you have a business.
I know a lot of dumb shit people have businesses, so it doesn't mean now a successful business or like some kind of like groundbreaking business. Okay, fine, we'll get into that.
What about $150,000 a month?
That's not. I don't think that's genius level at all. It's like whatever. There's lots of people like that, but we're talking like.
Well, we just saw like $150,000 a month is top 1%. Not a lot of people like that.
Yeah, but then I guess we're talking like 0.01%.
But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
as long as it's 1%, it's like not a lot of people.
Yeah, but 0.1% on 120 million people. We're talking about the States now. It's a lot.
Yeah, but you have to look at the other side where it's all the broke people, right? It's a lot more.
Sure.
A lot of people making 50 grand and under.
1% of 120 million people is a lot of people.
Why would it be 120 million?
Because the States.
The States is like 360 million.
Even worse.
Yeah. No, you do. I'm not saying
worse,
that
right?
thing, but I'm saying it's just a ratio thing. The ratio is the same. So
okay,
it's like,
fine. Let's not deviate too much. The original question was, do you think geniuses are born or they're developed or they can be developed?
I think there is... Both is correct. The only difference between a true genius and somebody who isn't is honestly luck of the draw. You need the time, the effort, the opportunity to gather everything, and the person has to be ready to put everything into place to become that genius.
Listen, it's true. Success is a factor of a lot of things, and you've actually touched on quite a few of the people that study this shit actually look into. So when people look at, why did certain people develop the way that they did? Like why did Bill Gates become a $120 billion, billionaire, but then somebody who had very similar capabilities like him didn't? Like what made him so fucking special? Or like any of these like big name mainstream people, so like your Elon Musk, your fucking Jeff Bezos, your Zuckerbergs, all these people that have done big things worldwide. Why did they and why did not somebody else who was just as capable? Are they truly that special, or was there something else?
Are you recording?
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
One of the things that people keep mentioning over time when they look at this kind of stuff, because they've looked at it now and in history. So like, why was Rockefeller? Why was the Rothschild? Why was Getty? Right? Like, why are those people? Were they really that fucking special, or was something else? a big, really big factor into all of this, opportunity.
Yeah.
Opportunity, like the luck
Yeah.
side of things. So it's, I think, what was it? Someone described success as like the right combination of opportunity and preparation.
Yeah. I've heard that before.
That's what that is, right?
Right.
The whole genius when it comes to like intelligence born or developed thing was interesting because when the question was asked to me, I don't think I actually had a clear answer for it, but it did trigger a memory where I saw that someone actually had this question. Someone in the scientific community had this question. They're like, can we develop a genius? Or is it just like born? Like if you're just an Einstein, you're just a fucking Einstein. Like whatever, either you are and you aren't. And they actually decided to test this theory with their own children. The guy was a scientist. I think it was like, I don't think he was a psychologist. I forget what he was, but he's like, he told his wife, "Listen, let's make our next child a case study. Let's see if we can develop a genius. We won't know what their potential is because they're not born yet. They're not even conceived. But the next time we have a child, let's try." And they ended up training
a Down syndrome kid.
the greatest women's chess player of all time.
But IQ doesn't always in chess doesn't mean.
It's really big.
But I know guys in prison that have very low IQ, can't read.
They're not going to be a world champion in chess.
No, but they will like they are top 10%.
Bro, we're talking about like 0.0000001.
Yeah, but if you take that kid and you give him those parents that are going to train him, he might be that.
This was the theory, is that their theory was they could develop a genius.
That's what I'm saying.
That was their contention.
I think
and so they tried and they did. However, it's so hard to make this study like world. You can't, because how many times you can be able to do this kind of study? How many times are you gonna get parents to give up their child?
No. The
and
better.
Be like, all right, we're gonna develop all children to be. You know what I mean? It's a hard thing to like prove, but it was cool that they tried.
The better way of testing that would be those same parents would have to go raise other kids, and in a lifetime, that's almost impossible. Like how because you have to have the same circumstances. So the other kid, like some African kid that has the potential, has to come live with those parents in that same house, go through the same processes as that other kid that did the chess stuff.
And that was their theory, is that they could actually do it with anyone.
If
that was their
I would
contention.
imagine it would be pretty close to something like that, right? I would think that everybody has, as long as you have a medial IQ, you have an average like median IQ. I would imagine that you could potentially, go through these loopholes and do it.
It's crazy. I still remember her name. I'll look it up right now. Judith Polgar was born on the 23rd of July in 1976 in Budapest. Polgar and her two older sisters, Susan and Sophia, were part of an educational experiment carried out by their father, Laszlo Polgar, in an attempt to prove that children could make exceptional achievements if trained in a specialist subject from a very early age. Quote, "Geniuses are made, not born," was Laszlo's thesis.
Wow.
He and his wife, Clara, educated their 3 daughters at home with chess as a specialist subject. Laszlo also taught his 3 daughters the international language Esperanto. They received resistance from...
What's Esperanto?
It's I've actually heard about this. It's the first human-developed language of modern times.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Not many people speak it,
pretty
but it's pretty cool.
That's like the oldest language, no?
No, I mean, it's one of the newest.
Okay, say it again.
I said it's one of the newest human-developed languages of our time.
And what kind of language is it based on?
It combines like a lot of it combines Spanish, English, some like Asian languages as well.
Is it Korean or no?
I'll play you a clip of what Esperanto sounds like, and then you can decide for yourself.
That's crazy. Esperanto. Learn something new every day.
So, anyways, Judith Polgar, she became considered like probably like the greatest women's chess player of all time. And her sisters, grandmaster, and like it was crazy. Like they ended up developing the levels to.
But let's be honest here. The best WNBA player is not even a bench player in the NBA. Let's be honest here.
What's crazy about that point that you just mentioned is she is Judith, anyways, Polgar was the only woman to have won a game against a reigning world #1 player. And she has defeated 11 current or former world champions in rapid or classical chess. And it lists off like these are men, not women. So she's like.
So is it common knowledge that men are better chess players than women?
Yes.
Okay.
But here's the thing: people.
The reason girls keep relationships ambiguous is because they want to test pilot. And what I've noticed is this, okay? And I just ran into this the last maybe 3 to 4 days, Hector, and this is very crucial.
What do you mean?
This is very, very crucial. There's always known as a hoe phase, correct?
Sure.
Generally, I might get some hate for this. This might be fucking the worst fucking thing I might say.
Alert!
Yes.
Fucking like.
What I've noticed is this.
This is a disclaimer here. If you're sensitive, don't listen to this.
The girls that are usually popular in high school have usually lower IQs, and they go through the whole phase at a very young age. From what I've noticed, again, this is just my experience. And then what happens is the girls that were not really asked for in high school, but now somehow got some type of education, some type of status, whether they went through a diet, whether they, went through a shrink, got their confidence up, whatever it may be. Shout out to you. I'm not hating. Well,
bring me back. How does this tie into the ambiguous thing?
Okay. Biologically, women need to sustain a very, very high value man. The smarter the girl, the higher the value the woman really is. Give me
Yes.
that joint on that fucking thing right there. I'm gonna go
Little
deep.
roachy?
I'm gonna go deep, son. And this is, I think we're gonna end on this.
Okay.
I think we're
Okay.
gonna end
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
this. The smarter the girl, the higher the bar,
Yes.
and less balance. Okay. Now you have to understand this as a weight scale here. A girl has instantly more weight on that scale than you right off the bat because she has to not only sacrifice a child, sacrifice her body,
Yeah.
possibly sacrifice financial abilities. That's why the court systems are in their favor generally, okay? That's just fair to say. I'm not hating on girls. It is just the way it is, just for precautionary reasons, because, they are more vulnerable. That being said, when you go through a certain number of girls in your life, just interaction wise, not even sexually, just interaction wise, you get a feel for it. Two things I realize is that the smarter girls are usually the less attractive girls. Not necessarily because they're actually genetically less attractive, but because they don't put themselves out there at an early age.
Yeah.
So they don't get noticed or picked up
Yes,
as a
yes,
radar,
yes, yes.
as a,
So they're viewed as less attractive.
right, because
Understood.
they just run under the radar.
Yeah.
Right? Then they blossom at a later age, right? And generally girls, like, genetically start going down, they don't get the same attention, let's say, after 35. Usually.
Yeah. Pretty,
right?
That's pretty generous.
Yeah.
But okay.
So let's
sure.
just say 35
Yeah.
based on genetically, some genetics less earlier and some more. Now, that being said, the smarter ones blossom later. Now, the smarter ones are more ambiguous than the dumber ones. And that just makes straight sense, because if you're more ambiguous, you are actually configuring the relationship that you need in order to have this child or have this family or have any kind of sustainable algorithmic, relationship between you, where it creates an environment for production and more growth, right?
Okay, yeah.
Double growth, because there's two people investing in the same kind of lifestyle. Dumber girls are easier to accept you. However, it's actually harder to get the less attractive, smarter girl nowadays in 2022, I believe, than to get the good-looking girl that's not as smart. Now, that might have been a common ideology from back in the day, maybe from your experience.
Yeah.
However, I gotta say, a girl could literally be going out with the guy. She goes on Valentine's Day with the guy.
Yeah.
The guy will let her drive his car. And she will, if you ask her, and if you have, I guess, some type of ambiance to you,
Yeah.
some type of different characteristics that she hasn't come across. Let's say she only dates a certain spectrum of guys, and you are a newer type of guy that she never really dealt with. She's curious. She's interested.
Right.
She'll make that guy that she was dated for 3 to 4 months very ambiguous as far as a friend, right?
Yeah.
To make it seem like I'm still available if you need, right? I'm still curious.
And why are they doing that?
I'd lie to you if I said I knew.
Oh.
And they do this.
That's
the key question.
We'll leave on that one,
Yeah.
and we will explore that next week.
Yeah.
Because that is actually a very, very interesting topic.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you subscribe
Everywhere. Subscribe on YouTube.
YouTube.
Subscribe Instagram. Funny FL Podcast.
Instagram.
We got Spotify. We got
Spotify.
fucking Apple Music. Everywhere.
We got some Chinese platforms we don't know.
Fuck TikTok.